So good evening, everybody, and it's now 6 o'clock. A very warm welcome to our members who are here in person and those who've joined us online. It's now 6 o'clock, and I'm therefore delighted to declare the 171st Annual General Meeting of the members of the Hanley Economic Building Society open. We'll be asking for your questions throughout the evening, and from both the live stream chat and from our members present. As those of you who've been to our AGMs previously will be aware, there are a number of formal and procedural matters that we need to ensure are conducted properly, but I'll do my very best to keep things moving along. Firstly, I think it's appropriate to merge the first two items on the agenda, namely the auditor's report and the director's report, annual accounts and annual business statement for the year ended 31st of August 2025, and then move on to the other matters, namely to reappoint Orbis Mazars LLP as auditors, to approve the director's remuneration report, and to deal with the election and re-election of directors. Before we address these topics, I should note that we have received apologies from the following members unable to attend tonight's meeting: Tracy Ann Ratcliffe, Sandra O'Sullivan, and Carly Shaw. The minutes of the annual general meeting held on the 11th of December last year were duly entered into the Society's minute book, and I can report that the directors have satisfied themselves that the minutes which were entered are a true and correct record of the business which was transacted at that meeting, and that I, the chair at the time, have signed them. If we now move on to the accounts, the summary financial statement, which includes the auditor's report, has been available for the statutory period of 3 weeks, and the accounts, business statement and director's report have been available free of charge at every office of the Society and on our website. Before we move the proposition to approve the auditor's report, director's report, annual accounts and annual business statement for the last year, and to set the context of our recent performance and talk about what the current year might look like, I'd like to invite our CEO, Mark Selby, to give a short presentation.
Short.
Thank you.
This bit always comes around quicker than I'm just getting comfortable. He's talking, and I'm relaxing, and I realize, oh God, I've got to actually stand up and do something. Hello, everybody. It's really nice to see everybody, colleagues, past and present, and people who you guys have been coming the whole time. I think this is my 9th AGM, my 8th as chief exec. And I was just reflecting that I think this market that we're in now is the toughest of the whole time I've been here. So my first 3 years, we pretty much doubled profit. We grew the balance sheet by 30%. It felt easy. But now, we did a systems change. We hit COVID. But now the market, and I'm going to talk a little bit. So the word you're going to hear me mention most tonight is margin. It's very, very tough for us at the moment. But at the end, I'm going to open up to questions. And before I do that, though, there's a couple of things I want to address. There's a post on Stoke-on-Trent Live this afternoon that I want to talk about. And also I had a conversation and a question from another member this morning, Terry Walsh, that I'd like to address too, which kind of wraps those things up. So that's what I'm going to do. And then, so just some of the highlight, the headline numbers on that. I hope you can see. Can you all see, Ollie? Can you see well enough? Yeah. Your new posh glasses. I think they're just the style. They're actually blank, aren't they? So just in terms of the market, this is probably the most important slide. We are a traditional building society. Traditionally, we lend on standard residential mortgages, your basic home mortgage. Yeah? So I won't expect anyone to see them, but if you just look at those bars, each bar represents a different product that we do. And what I want to try and show you is the grey blocks at the top, if you focus on, that is how much margin has been removed by product. So the far left is your standard residential, really basic, nice low risk mortgage. It's basically margin free. That tiny little green band between the blue and the grey, that's all the margin that's left in that product. That makes sense. So the only two products there that have any margin left are pretty much retirement and interest only. So interest only for people who are retired, and people self-build. So people who want to build their own homes, not our traditional core mortgage. That's the market that I'm facing. And then if you add in the fact it costs £8 million a year to run this place, you can see the challenge fairly quickly. There's very little margin in products, and our cost base has gone up significantly over the last few years. So how have we done? Well, members have stayed broadly flat. So we've managed to keep hold of our members. The green bar are the savings members and the blue bar are mortgage members. Now, by and large, there's about 6 or 7 savers for every mortgage holder. That's pretty standard.
Finance.
No, purely in terms of numbers, volume. So when we're making decisions about rates, we always bear in mind that there are 6 or 7 savers for every mortgage. So when the base rate changes, we're always very conscious that we've got 6 or 7 savers for every mortgage holder. But you can see that broadly speaking, membership numbers have stayed stable, which is good. But what we want to do is start increasing that in the future. Financial performance, I am going to kind of pick the pace up, but just pick on the pictures. The green bars of profit, the very big one is 2024. That's for an exceptional reason. The dark green, we sold a subsidiary that we had. So we had an extraordinary amount of money come in on that sale. And also we had a branch saver product, which people get PTSD over here, which we got that was very, very popular. And interest rates were very high. We managed to put it into the Bank of England and get quite a good income on that. So they're the 2 exceptional things. But in 2025, which is the far right bar, profits come right down. And the dark green is an investment we've made. So that's suppressed, but we're looking at technology for the future. So that investment is about the future. So profit has come off. But if you look at the dotted line, I won't go into too much detail, but that is our margin. So it lifted up to 2024, which we know is exceptional. It's dipped down, but it's beginning to pick up again. And that's the thing, the critical message is we have to get our margin back up. Is that all making sense so far? Great. Okay, so going forwards, we expect things to get better. You can see that low bar, that low green bar in the middle of that cluster there, 2025, that you can see the dark bars, purple bars, I think they are rising as we forecast things getting better, which hopefully is more positive. And costs, if you focus on the last 4 bars, the very tallest bar is 2025, the year we've just closed. We need costs to have peaked at that year, and we're planning on holding costs for the next 3 years. So holding costs, improving margin, that's how we're going to improve the financial results. Making sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, where's Dawn? All right so far? Yeah. Dawn's my so, but this is the point, we are still very, very strong. This is our capital, how much money we've got. Capital is our rainy day fund. If things go wrong, we use our capital to protect us. And liquidity is the sort of free cash flow that we have available if people want to take their money out. So that's available money to protect us, and it's very, very strong. It always has been, but it remains strong. So the blue, if you see that last blue bar, the light blue is what we need. And added with the dark blue is what we have. So the dark blue is the surplus available to us. Okay, so we have plenty of capital to protect us for the future. This is it. People always, Bill, you've asked me this before. In terms of safety, so we've got plenty of money, and the mortgages that we've written are very, very safe. And this is the number of mortgages that are in arrears. So people who are struggling to pay their mortgage. Today, we have 34 accounts in arrears. Okay, 34. I think about 0.5%, and 15 are in arrears of more than 3 months. So very, very small numbers. And the team who work here, who work with Ollie, are fantastic at helping people get back on their feet when they fall. And it's usually people who are getting divorced, who've been made redundant, who've got ill. So it's life events. So we're very, very good at making that work. I want to just pause on that. Where's Adam? Beautiful. We just had to get Adam in. It's lovely. With no idea what he was doing with his hand.
What do you call eye candy?
Eye candy. There you go. Maybe you feel slightly uncomfortable with the He's still smiling. But obviously the whole place is built around our colleagues, Adam particularly. 70%, we have a 70% staff satisfaction index, which is high, but we want to get it higher. And you can see, I won't go through all of those, but people generally are very happy to work here. Our turnover is low. We don't lose people, and we offer a lot of training. I think 70 people this year got trained on artificial intelligence, AI. So that's a new thing coming in. And we offered open training to everybody, and 70 people came and got trained on AI. So that's what we're trying to deliver as an employment experience. We were shortlisted. I mean, local awards and local recognition are really important to us. The Staffordshire Chamber of Commerce shortlisted us for responsible, more eye candy, just point that out. Lucy's smiling at me. We were shortlisted for Responsible Business of the Year. We didn't win this year, but to be shortlisted was great, and to be recognised locally was great. And we had a dinner at Port Vale. We were allowed just on the edge of the pitch to say thank you to everybody this year. We had a dinner in the Robbie Williams suite and and there were people shouting at us if we actually stepped back any further than that onto the turf. But it was a great night. And one of the things I'm most proud of is that we've had over 200. We encourage everybody to spend up to 4 days a year. We pay for, the society pays for people to volunteer in local projects and charities, and we've done 204 days. Every single person in the whole building society has done at least 1 day, so I'm quite proud of that. And we have donated over £64,000 to local charities and projects, which I'm also proud of, and that's across 40 different charities locally. And we have started what we've called the Hanley at Home Fund. So there was a piece of legislation passed in 2020 called the Reclaim Fund, which allows us to use dormant accounts, so money in accounts that hasn't been touched for 10, 15 years. We contact the members, the account holders, and if they don't come in and make contact with us, we're allowed to use that money for local projects and charities. All the money's protected. So if suddenly somebody wakes up and go, I forgot about that passbook, or they find the passbook in the back of a drawer somewhere, it's all protected. So there's no risk to members, but we're able to move that into local charities. And we've done how much this year? Because I got confused in the end. 28,000 on the side. 28,107.
28,907.
Okay, I'm going to make that 29,000. And we've done over £44,000 worth of giving on that through that fund, which we're going to do every year now as we go forward. So I think hopefully making a difference to Stoke. Right, last slide. Again, something I'm quite proud of. We have this idea that there's a lot of people in Stoke that rent and can't get out of renting a property and to own their own property. So what we wanted to do was, it's effectively 100% mortgage. If you've proven that you can pay your rent on a property and you can afford it, we will lend you enough money to buy somewhere up to the point you've proved you can afford to pay, so you can get out of a rent trap and get into home ownership. So, and we've offered that out locally. It's not been as widely well received. It's been well received. We've got good press. We've not done as much business on it as I'd hoped yet, but we're looking at tweaking it and seeing what more we can do with it. So that's the end of that. So before I open to questions, I'm going to just crouch on the end here because I'm off camera. My youngest son, which is completely irrelevant, the chairman will kill me for this. My youngest son got spotted by a model agency, and he was completely unmoved by it. I said, Jack, how many times do you think that's happened to me? I.e. none. He said, Dad, you should do radio. I said, what do you mean? He says, you've got a nice voice. So I like to be off camera. But this afternoon, Stoke-on-Trent Live and the Sentinel picked up on an announcement we made yesterday, which I want to talk about because I think it's the elephant in the corner of the room. I don't want to sort of pass by. But we've done a review of the branch network and how it's used, how much it costs us. And I think I've made the point about margin and costs being tight and important for us. And we looked at the way that Hanley's being used and how much it costs us, and the lease is coming up next March. And with great sadness and regret, we've decided to close Hanley and Land Street. So it's 1.2 miles away from here. There's parking here, the opening hours here are longer, and pretty much most people who who use Hanley also come here. So I'm not suggesting for a second it won't inconvenience people, it will, but we think we think we can minimise it. And I think all of us are sad to be doing it. I never thought we'd be closing branches, but this has been an opportunity and a review that we've done, which we've led to the conclusion that we should close Hanley, sadly. So I wanted to bring that up. Now, Mr. Walsh, I think, is online. I spoke to him this morning because he was concerned about the timing of this, given that the AGM's today.
Yes.
And it looks at best unfortunate. So I wanted to explain that. Both things have a regulatory timeline that we are required to stick to. So we have to run the AGM so many days after the end of the financial year, which is August the 31st. We have to do it so many days. Somebody said to me earlier on today, why do we always do this so close to Christmas? Why can't we do this? There's a reason for it. And similarly, we have to give members 3 months notice if we're going to close a branch, which is March. So that's 3 months, because the lease ends, and that's what's driving the letters going out and landing yesterday, I think, and the emails. So the two things are driven by a regulatory requirement, but yes, it looks unfortunate, but there's no connection between the two things. Does that make sense? So I wanted to sort of just front that up because I know that some of you will be aware of it. Yeah, Mr. Clark.
Could you not have announced it a week earlier, give people more chance to react before the meeting?
We didn't make the decision until 2 weeks ago. So what we needed to do was make sure we'd done all the analysis. So we looked at how many people use the branch, whether they use other branches where they opened their account. So we needed to make sure, and these guys needed to make sure that we'd kicked the tires very, very hard on the decision. So it wasn't something. So the printing and all the post and all the paperwork for this is done in October. And the decision for Hanley was done about 10 days ago. So yeah, I'd like to have done it differently, frankly. Really would have preferred to have done it, separate the two, but it's just the way that the timings worked. Hi.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
The Saints, like what, 1.5 miles from Hanley, the city centre, to
Yeah, I think so.
to drive down to Reading.
Yeah.
The thing is, all the buses, 9 out of 10, terminate in Hanley, the city centre.
Yeah.
And when I've used that branch, I use this branch as well.
Yes.
And I do see a lot of elderly people that go into that branch. Now, if you've got a car, fine.
Yes.
But a lot, I think, who use that branch have not got a vehicle. And the thing is, it's not that easy, say people who are in, say, the 70s, 80s, or whatever, to just nip down here. So I just wonder, when your decision was being made, and you've just said you can just drive down to here and Newcastle.
If you have a car, of course.
You've got a car.
Yeah.
But the thing is, things aren't that easy.
Yeah.
And it's and another thing as well. There's lots of building societies, isn't there? Where you've got the Leek United, you've got Branch and Leek, and you've got the others, Skipped and Coventry, and all the rest of it. How strange will it be that the Hanley Economic Building Society has not got a branch in its city centre? It doesn't look very good, does it?
Well, but let's agree that I don't want to do this. Okay, let's agree it's not a great thing to do, and I'm sad and I regret that we're doing it. And I'm not going to dismiss the point that people who can't drive are going to find it more difficult. I think from the numbers I've seen, it's a relatively small number, but for those people, it's going to be difficult. I mean, you sound more local than I sound, right? So most people tell me this is Hanley here as well. So
it's not.
Okay, so
it's not. I can assure you it.
We're elderly people. I'm just approaching 80, and there's a number 38 bus that comes down here.
Okay.
And we'd have no problem getting that.
Okay.
Just to make that point. People who drive cars speaking for us who don't drive.
Okay.
And where does the 38 bus come from?
It comes from Hanley.
Yeah, and goes round the top end.
It comes down here.
Yeah.
It comes straight past here.
So it's possible to. Yeah. Look, I think it's going to inconvenience some people. I think that's definitely true. The other thing I'll be with you in a sec, Bill. I went into Hanley yesterday. I wanted to check on the branch and make sure they were okay. And if you go down that street now, it's basically boarded up, and the only shop is open down there, Shoe Zone, and they've got a closing sign up. And I wanted to get some lunch, so I went to the coffee shop next door, I got chatting to a security guard that works in TK Maxx, and he said they're closing. And he said Primark are trying to get out too. So I don't want to leave Hanley, and I agree with you in a sense about the Hanley thing. But there's going to very quickly going to be virtually nothing left, and people won't be going there because there's nothing else there. I mean, look, I don't want to do it. Let me be clear. I'm not going to stand here and argue it's a brilliant thing to do. What I'm saying is commercially it makes sense because it's the most expensive branch we've got. It's the most expensive by transaction. The numbers are going down, and the town centre is diminishing in terms of its the traffic as well. So
Is it the worst out of all the branches?
it's not the worst, but in what way?
As in, you know, footfall.
It's not the quietest, no.
And of course, there'll be concerns, obviously, for for other branches if this one is not anywhere near the bottom. That these are the worries, and I'm
Yeah.
talking out to the box, showing the what's it with you.
Yeah, well, I'm conscious there are other questions, but the other branches that we were forced into making a decision on this one a little bit quicker because the lease is coming up at the end of March. But Biddulph we own, Newcastle we own, Longton we own here. So we pretty much, and Stone's got a very long lease on it. So I don't foresee us closing. I cannot foresee a situation where we're going to look to close. What we want to do is make the most of those branches. So there's no kind of secret plan here. This is the beginning of something else.
So if you owned it, it wouldn't probably be as big an issue.
Well, I think it would be a different issue. It would be a different issue. It might be that we want to get out of the town, we'd sell it. I don't know, but it would be a different issue if we owned it.
I know you said about Hanley deteriorating, but I think all towns across the country are on the downer sort of thing, with shops closing. But
Well, we could discuss that, but I think Bill had a question.
Is there scope for achieving a smaller branch in Hanley?
Well, I think my view on this is we're closing this one, but we're not getting out of Hanley forever. I would like more branches eventually, but when we can afford it. The other thing I'd like to do is what's called a banking hub. So where you actually have the facility to share it with other deposit takers. So could we go back in and rent some space somewhere and share it with another building society? Yes, I think that would be something that we could do, and that would be more cost effective. So yes.
Or could you swap with an estate agent?
Well, we've done that before. So yes, we could do. Well, we could work in an estate agent, and we've done that with Cheadle. So there are other options for us in Hanley. Yeah. This isn't the end, but it's just this particular branch we're going to close.
Because there's a psychological element once you've gone. Whereas if you've moved, you will now found us with our estate agents just round the corner.
Yes.
The psychological element is, they're still here.
Yeah.
I thought of doing that in Cheadle, because you were with Donald Cope, weren't you there? And when he went, and your agency closed there, didn't it? And I thought it might be a good idea if that's an option you're looking for. I mean, Cheadle is way out to the potteries and everything.
Yeah.
So, but
we did look at other opportunities. I mean, Ollie, you had a look, but yeah, we did look at other opportunities in Cheadle because again, for the same, I didn't want to leave Cheadle, and we had a customer base there. So we looked, but we couldn't find something that was appropriate in Cheadle at the time. But Hanley. I mean, there are so many empty units at Hanley. It may be that we can find something else. But there's staffing costs. We have to fit it out. So something of a shared space would be easier and more cost effective.
So you would be looking at that then? For Hanley.
We've said that we will look at that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to promise. I'm not going to. But
I'm on your members group, so that will be.
Okay. Well, I will
months.
happily chat to you after, but we will look at it. But I'm not going to stand here now and promise we're going to do something. But I'm certainly open to it. I don't want to leave Hanley. No.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
As from March,
Yes.
there won't be any banking facilities in the northern end of the city because Lloyd's are shutting down. But I had a word of their manager. There's supposed to be what did you call it?
Banking hub. Yes.
The hub's supposed to be opening somewhere in that
Okay.
locality. Would it be worth looking in to see whether we could get some in the hub?
Is that in Tunstall?
In Tunstall, yes.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, we can look at that.
We used to have a branch in Tunstall.
We did. You
I've been telling
mentioned
that for years, I know.
only 8 or 9 times.
Well, if you keep going,
Yeah.
somebody starts eventually. Like I say, there's nothing in the northern end of the city. There's no bank in Kidsgrove or
Yeah.
any starting.
Yeah.
There's nothing in Tunstall from March.
If it's the banking
It
hub,
might be worth looking at the hub.
You think Lloyd's are leading it?
They're definitely leaving.
Okay. We can
It's
look
the
at that.
9th,
Okay.
but he's told me that they're opening an hub
Right.
with other people
Yeah.
involved.
Okay.
You've missed out Burslem as well. That's got nothing either.
Burslem hasn't even had ATM for years, has it?
Got no banks building side. His tonsil hasn't kids with about.
Even Nationwide moved out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I used to work for Santander and they've closed 500 branches in the last
Yeah.
5 years. So, yeah. Does anybody have any questions other than about Hanley?
Oh, just onto that.
Oh, on Hanley, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I use Hanley, but again, only a couple of times a year.
Yeah.
Now, I think the age profile of the customers going in there is probably my age, if not older.
Young.
So therefore there.
Yeah.
Now, they're unlikely, if they can't get down here, to do online banking.
Yes.
So I signed up last year for online banking and gave up. So I thought, I'll do it now again.
Mhm.
Couldn't remember my username.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember my password.
Yeah.
So I phoned up, they gave me the details, great. And I got in and it says, what's your memorable data? If I couldn't remember how to get in, how would I know that? So I clicked on the button that said, also it said, get in touch and
Yeah.
say which number.
Yeah.
So I just looked up savings, phoned that number.
Yeah.
Then it said, once I got in, give us your email address and we'll send you your memorable question.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. I did it again 20 minutes later, nothing happened. So in the end, I phoned up and got it. And I remembered what it was from the hint.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for me, and I'm, for my age, reasonably computer literate.
Yeah.
How would others cope?
It's not for everybody. Oh, and I'm not,
No,
you know, I'm not making light of the inconvenience that there will be, and I'm not suggesting everybody should
No.
go online. It isn't for everybody. I agree.
the younger profile, they're used to it, they'll do it.
My dad's a lot older than you. He simply refuses to go online, so we won't use online banking. So, any other questions about anything else? I'm happy to talk about Hanley, but
Have you anticipated that you might lose some members
Yes.
by closing?
I think that's a risk.
that?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and usually, like I said, the older people
Yeah.
within the city are usually the ones that have got the money and, you know, could take,
Hmm.
you know, say their ISAs away or you know, or
Hmm.
bonds or what have you.
Hmm.
So, you know, it's, I do know that when Co-op Bank closed 4 of its places, Tunstall was one of them.
Yeah.
I did have some inside information. But they didn't realise how much, you know, business and customers that they were going to lose, and they really did lose quite a lot because you had a lot of you at the Hanley Economic when
We did well when
Yeah.
Co-op closed the
so,
branches. We did
so
well,
you know, I think that's always something you should always take into consideration.
and we have.
as well.
We've looked at it, and we've looked at what we lost at Cheadle when Cheadle had to close. So we've modelled it from that, and we understand what the total savings liability is at Hanley, and we've worked what we think we might lose. So yes, it is a risk, yeah.
And it's easy for them to walk just 50 yards to Leek.
Well, then there's a new Coventry Building Society branch.
Is it?
I mean, if you walk up Lamb Street, you walk across the entrance to the potteries.
Yeah.
Then there's a big Coventry, and then just to the left there's a Santander, of course.
Oh, yeah.
It's just Co-op Bank, though.
It's the old Co-op Bank.
It's just Co-op Bank, but
Yeah,
they
yeah.
haven't merged with Co-op.
Yeah.
But for building societies, the Leek is just 50 yards away by the bus stops.
Well, as I keep saying, because I want to be straight about it, this is not without risk and not a decision that I wanted to take or that we wanted to do, but it's commercially sensible for us, given the context and the backdrop of the business.
Was there a very big increase in the rent value?
No,
No, so.
no, but it costs us about £150,000 a year to run it. So, you know, that's a cost saving, and we're moving everybody that works there into the other branches. So
Yes.
there's no job losses, which is really important. But you know, I mean, somebody made the point to me earlier on. I mean, it's going to be difficult for some people, for sure, for some members, but I've got to think of the benefit of everybody. And what I'm trying to do is make the business have a brighter, stronger future. And that means I've got to make the margin wider, and some of that is about managing costs. And this is a decision that I have to make with that in mind. And it's not one I do lightly, and I do it with some regret.
One more question, something different. On the margin,
Oh, please.
looking at, you expected something. Looking at the profit this year, forget last year, which was extra.
Yeah.
The previous years, it's well down. What's caused that?
Previous years.
Like last year was over 2 million. The year before was about 900,000.
Well, last year was exceptional.
Yes.
So I kind of tried to sort of suggest that we could write that off as a,
Yes.
yeah.
But this year is what, 200,000 or 300. 2 years ago, it was 4 times that.
Well, it's the point I made about margin being squeezed. It's just that, you know, over time, margins just come. So I'll give you a specific example. In the average 2-year, I've got a chart, I'll show you. The average 2-year fixed rate mortgage was 6% in 2024. Today, I can get one for 3.5%.
Right.
Now, if I'm paying 4% to savers,
Yes.
and that's what's been happening over the last few years, you know, mortgage rates have been coming down as base rates been coming down, but savings rates, and because we have 6 savers for every mortgage, we've tried to keep, we haven't rushed savings rates down. Yeah, so the base rates come down by 1.25%, and we've moved savings rates by less than 1%. So we've tried to protect savers, but the rub is the margin gets compressed, and that's been going on now for a number of years.
There's still a lot of money in the keeping the Bank of England rate, that special account. That obviously was heavily oversubscribed.
The base rate tracker. I can't remember how much is left in it. Remember how much is in the base rate
In
tracker?
the savings account or the our actual account?
No, in the savings
The
account,
base rate tracker.
it guarantees to match Bank of England rate.
To about 70 million now.
So still a reasonable chunk.
It was 120.
Yeah.
So, but the rub with those people are not local, regular, loyal savers. They came for the rate, and as soon as the base rate starts going off, they run off somewhere else.
Anywhere else that's going to match
No,
this rate.
no, but they're the kind of people who chop and change at the drop of a hat, and they're not really the savers we want for the long term.
I'm one of them, and I took some to put it in a nicer so I could not pay interest on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
The good thing you've got here is loyalty and no contract.
Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah.
Even if the rate does drop below that, you'll find out you get your loyal people who will stay with you. And I think that's been the strength of this building society. And that is why I've been as strong, you know, to say about closing the Hanley one, because I think you obviously, disappoint a lot of the members, and, you know, even those who don't use it, I'm sure would have sympathy. And you know, just don't lose your loyalty.
No, I agree, and we can agree that so all the products we've been launching over the last year or so have been loyalty savers for existing members, and to try and reward people for that loyalty and local.
Makes you change from what it was before, because we were very low before.
Very low.
Very low. I noticed that. Yeah.
We have to find the right balance. Just conscious. Are there any questions online, Mason? No. Okay, great. I think I'll probably talk to you.
We'll have an opportunity to wrap up, if that's all right. We might just move on to the other matters. So at that point, I think I'd like to move on then to the approval of the accounts. So I would therefore like to have proposed that the accounts of the Society for the year ended 31st of August 2025, with the reports of the directors and the auditors thereon, are received and approved. And I'm now going to ask Alan Fogg to kindly second the proposition.
Mr. Chairman, members, I second the proposition that the accounts of the Society for the year ended on the 31st of August 2025, with the reports of the directors and auditors thereon, be received and approved.
Thanks very much, Alan. So turning now to audit matters, the Building Societies Act 1986 requires that the external auditors are appointed or reappointed at each annual general meeting. Are there any questions from the members present or on the live stream chat with respect to the reappointment of the auditors? No. Orbis Mazars LLP, being eligible to do so, are reappointed auditors of the Society until the conclusion of the next annual general meeting, and I would like to formally propose that resolution. And I'm going to ask Bob Young, the chair of our Audit and Compliance Committee, to kindly second the proposition.
Mr. Chairman, members, I second the proposition that Orbis Mazars LLP be reappointed as auditors of the Society until the conclusion of the next annual general meeting.
Thanks very much, Bob. So from a voting point of view, those of you eligible to vote and who have not previously completed a proxy form, can I please ask you to complete your voting form for ordinary resolutions 1, 2 and 3, and to receive the annual report and accounts.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
It's theoretical.
Yes.
What would happen if the members all decided we won't reappoint them? You get to a meeting like this, there's not much time to get somebody involved very quickly. That would be rather a problem.
Yes and no, in the sense that we would have to go and find another set of auditors to complete that task. We are actually halfway through our year, so there is some time to do that. But as we all know, auditors do take quite a long time to go through
Yes,
the processes. So,
yes.
but no, that is the purpose, to be fair, is if for some reason.
Has it ever happened with a building society?
Not that I'm aware of.
I didn't think so. I've never heard of it.
No.
But as a matter of practice, as chair of the audit committee, we would go look for a beauty parade
Yeah.
and invite other people
Yeah.
to tender. And we
It'd have to be exceptional case something would
but
happen.
that could be done in a couple of months, and
Right.
the year end August, as you know. So it would be inconvenient, but it would be manageable.
Of all the things that people vote on, auditors is probably the least contentious. I think.
You vote.
I'm very sure people vote against me.
So next, as it happens, we should look at the director's remuneration report. Although building societies are not required to publish or vote on this matter, we believe it's good corporate governance to do so. There have been no questions from members in advance of the meeting, and are there any questions from anybody present or on live stream? As there are no further questions, I propose that the director's remuneration report be received and approved. And I ask Bob Young, the chair of the remuneration committee, to second the proposition.
Mr. Chairman, members, I second the proposition that the director's remuneration report be received and approved.
Thanks, Bob. So again, if I can ask that anyone who has not already done so, complete your voting form for ordinary resolution number 4 to approve the director's remuneration report. We then move on to the re-election of directors, and today we have Robert Michael Young, Susan Shardlow, Gillian Mary Davidson, Mark Edward Selby and Larne Payne, who retire by rotation in accordance with Rule 26 of the Society, and being eligible offer themselves for re-election. Are there any questions from the members present or on live stream chat with respect to any of those candidates? So I would now formally propose that Robert Michael Young, Susan Shardlow, Gillian Mary Davidson, Mark Edward Selby and Larne Payne be re-elected as directors of the Society, and I'll ask Gemma Plant to second each of these propositions.
Mr. Chairman, members, I second each of the individual propositions that Robert Michael Young, Susan Shardlow, Gillian Mary Davidson, Mark Edward Selby and Larne Payne be re-elected as directors of the Society.
Thank you, Gemma. If you've not already done so, please will you cast your votes by completing the section of your voting form headed Election of Directors. I can now call upon the scrutineers to collect your votes and add them to the proxy votes that we have already received, and we can take a few minutes while the voting is verified. So we can take a few minutes and relax. Thank you. Again, thank you very much for waiting. So we have the results as follows. The auditor's report for 1,527 against 9. That's 99.4% in favour. To receive the annual report and accounts, 1,525 against 13. That's 99.2% in favour. And I declare both propositions duly carried. To appoint Forbes Mazars as the auditors for 1,512 against 22, 98.6 in favour. I declare the proposition duly carried. To approve the director's remuneration report, 1,477 for, 48 against, that's 96.9% in favour. I declare the proposition is duly carried. The voting for the election of directors was as follows. For the re-election of Robert Michael Young, 1,497 for, 28 against, 98.2% in favour. The re-election of Susan Shardlow for 1,497 against 33, 97.8% in favour. For Gillian Mary Davidson for 1,496 against 33, 97.8% in favour. For the re-election of Mark Edward Selby for 1,494 against 31, that's 98% in favour. And for the re-election of Larne Payne for 1,498 and against 29, that's 98.1%. So I have pleasure in confirming that all propositions are therefore duly carried and that each of the directors has been duly re-elected as director of society. Finally, a couple of more points to bring to your attention before we close the meeting. As some of you may already have seen, on the 31st of December, I will be retiring from the board of the Hanley. Serving as chair of this historic mutual building society in Stoke-on-Trent for the last almost 8 years has been an immense privilege. We have achieved significant growth, fundamental review and focus of our business, and now have a hugely rewarding programme to increase our outreach and support for our local communities. I wish the Hanley every success in continuing to deliver its core values. I leave the Society in the capable hands of my successor, Ian Hanley, who will be taking the chair from the 1st of January. I have every confidence in his leadership alongside Mark, Lan and the rest of the executive team to continue to deliver our strategy for the benefit of our members and community alike. Perhaps, Ian, you might like to say a few words.
Thank you, Nick. First of all, may I say what a pleasure it's been in working with and for the Hanley for the last 5 years. I didn't know Stoke very well before I came into this job, and I have to say it's been an absolute joy getting to know Stoke, its community, its residents, my colleagues on the board. It's been a real joy, as I say, and I'm delighted that I have the opportunity to continue my career in a different guise. The second thing I want to say is to pay tribute to Nick. We said goodbye to him formally around the board table today. He's been a fabulous chairman, and I will be guided very strongly by what he has done around the board table. We will miss him greatly, and I hope very much that I can continue the traditions and the ethos that he has established so firmly around this board table. And finally, I'd just like to say, rather exactly like Nick, I shall endeavour and I intend to ensure that every decision and every action that the Society takes is done primarily with the interest of its members at heart. With that in mind, I have every confidence, like Nick, that we will continue to flourish and reward our members for the foreseeable future. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ian. So finally, as in recent years, the Society has again made a pledge to donate to our 4 partner charities, Dougie Mac, Alice Charity, YMCA and Glow. 10p for each member who has voted, and as an added bonus, this is increased to 35p if the votes were cast online. The scrutineers have advised me that this year's voting on this basis has generated, and forgive me when I just get to the right point, get the right number, £242.20. That now concludes the business of the annual general meeting for this year, and I declare the meeting closed. Thank you all very much indeed for attending. Thank you.
Can I just ask a question? How often does the board meet? Quarterly or what?
8 meetings a year as a minimum, and then we tend to have a 2-day offsite for strategy review, and then the additional meeting as required.
There are subcommittees as well for risk and for audit and compliance, and for remuneration as well.
So it's sort of 12 to 14 meetings a year by each member of the board. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.